you know about Association of Indian Management Schools? It's a 34-year-old networking body of B schools in India, having a membership of about 600 top management institutions. AIMS focuses on professionalization of management education, protects interests of B schools, represents management institutions at national and international forums, financially supports members in academic events, funds research projects on management, disseminates management-related knowledge through its annual Management Education Convention, conferences, seminars, roundtables and workshops, organizes free weekly webinars on knowledge sharing and inspiring young leaders sessions for management faculty and students members to be part of decision-making processes as members of chapter management committees and the executive board, encourages students' participation in free weekly quiz competitions by providing support to interested institutions, facilitates networking and interaction among B schools. Why would you like to remain a non-member of AIMS? Pay a very low one-time membership fee and enjoy many lifetime benefits. Visit https://aims.org.in for more details.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Suhas Ingle. I am a Vice President of Indo-ASEAN Business Chamber. For this session, I will be moderating this event today. Now, coming back to our topic, prospects of management education in ASEAN countries. We all know that there is a rising need for managers to understand the business in global context. Now, globalization has been reshaping the entire business scenario, and managers working, whether they are working in Indian companies or whether they are working in the international companies, they must know and understand the global context and global requirements of each and every company. Now, it is essential to understand the different factors that affect the business on a global level. With the trade boundaries becoming fluid, all businesses now have to compete on a global scale. Now, coming back to ASEAN countries, let us try to understand what is ASEAN. ASEAN stands for Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which comprises of countries like Indonesia, Singapore, Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam. So these are the 10 countries who have formed ASEAN together. I'm sure all of you must be aware of the India's Look East policy, which was designed in 1995. And later on in 2001, it became Act East policy. I'm sure recently you must have seen the Jakarta summit, which was chaired by our Prime Minister, Narendra Modi. The ASEAN is considered one of the most influential groupings in this region. Just for the information, ASEAN countries' total population is almost 60% of the world's population. And all these Asian nations, Asian countries, they are our neighbors. Now, I would like to introduce you to today's esteemed speaker, Mr. Vinod Paratkar. Mr. Vinod Paratkar is the president of Indo-ASEAN Business Chamber. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome for the...
My pleasure.
Yeah. Mr. Vinod Paratkar is a distinguished management speaker with over 35 years of experience in various facets of entrepreneurship, education, trade and investment facilitation, strategy and policy development of micro MSME segment and entrepreneurship education. He had the privilege of serving as a mentor and capacity building expert for startups and technology business incubators, working with the esteemed national and international organizations like UNIDO, United Nations, UNDP, that is United Nations Development Program, IFAD, the World Bank, Asian Development Bank, and many others. His contributions have extended to European Union and Indian technical cooperation projects, policy and strategy development for self-employment and rural entrepreneurship in India. Additionally, he has also written many books on entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship, implemented in many MBA institutes in India as well as in ASEAN countries. So I welcome you, sir, for this session. And sir is presently the president of Indo-ASEAN Business Chamber. We all are fortunate enough to listen to his views today on prospects of management education in ASEAN countries. We will have it as an interactive session with sir. It will not be a plain lecture series as such, like we do generally. So, sir, you have worked in ASEAN countries as a part of India's initiative in ASEAN for over 2 decades, and then as a consultant to various projects in many sectors. How was your experience in ASEAN?
Actually, ASEAN region is a beautiful region. I say, climatically, and when you work there, you feel connected because when you are there, you find the people they are similar like us. Maybe they look like people from our northeast part of India.
Mhm.
Culturally and historically, we are very close. There is a history of a maritime more than 2000 years before when Chola Samraj was there.
Mhm.
It was covering Bali to Cambodia to Vietnam. So India is well connected. Second thing is culturally and religiously, the Indian origin religion like Hinduism, Buddhism, they reach to that part of the world and they flourish. So you find them very connected and equally they reciprocate when you are there. India's culture is Atithi Devo Bhava.
Yes.
And when you are there, you will experience that. Maybe today you don't experience, yeah. But if you are walking on the street, anybody will just say hello to you,
Mhm.
even you are a stranger, and they will offer you some drink or food. It's a very friendly gesture. So they are very live people. So you'll definitely enjoy the ASEAN people. Getting along with them is not difficult. What difficulty is a language. And jokingly, let me tell you, I was accompanied by one of my counterpart in the country, and we meet the Indian origin family. And they were talking the local language so fluently, but they find it difficult to talk Indian language. And they say, oh, India man don't know Indian language. But we are so connected, and they offer us a tea and everything. Second thing is, when you are there, even if you visit a school, you will find Ramayana story, Mahabharata story. And when I was there as a part of my assignment, my daughter was schooling there.
Mhm.
And in a school, they celebrate two things, they set up a drama based on a Ramayana story. And second, I have experienced, the respected Rabindranath Tagore highly respected in that part of the world, Singapore and particularly Myanmar, part of Vietnam,
Mhm.
because he served there as a professor.
Oh,
And during the century of his birth century, I was there, luckily, and I found they celebrate the Tagore festival for 3 days.
mhm.
And when they were demonstrating, we feel like India. the food, culture, drama, except language. So I feel, India uh, can very well connect with them very easily. And in recent past, uh, in last 30 years, if you say, more a political economy, uh, people started what we say a bilateral, multilateral associations and organizations. Like Europe, it's become in part this ASEAN. We are a part of SARC, and in Asia itself, you have a different bilateral organization. So the 10 countries come together and they form a group called ASEAN, as you explained earlier. And India become a ASEAN Plus member in that group. Like we are a member of SAR group, but we also become a member of the ASEAN. In ASEAN, they say ASEAN plus 6 countries. They got a special status, and India is one. These
That's
6 countries
fantastic.
are Australia, China, Korea, Japan, India. So we are a plus country, and we enjoy, the same treatment in that group of countries. And I'm very happy to share with you when I was appointed, in that part of the world, as a part of Indian Initiative in 2004. Actually, now just we completed 20 years of our uh, association with the ASEAN countries.
I
And
think
that
last
time,
year we completed 30 years.
this year in September,
This year.
just 2 weeks before.
Oh,
And I was fortunate, I joined them online.
uh-huh.
And uh, we become now a full dialogue member.
Oh,
That's a big journey. And that's why, the Indian uh, management, Indian culture, and Indian business has a lot of opportunities in that part. And anyone who travel there will feel very attached, connected because of this background.
that's great. That's great. Sir, you have so much of experience that we all can learn from you. Now, coming to the next question is how you are connected with the educational policy makers, institutes, and what is your association with them? Can you just highlight a few points?
Yeah, because most of the audience, they are from the education institutes
That is
and
why
the
I asked you this
students.
question.
Yeah. So you will be surprised. I'm a person work with the industry, technology, SME strategy, policy. How come I attach to education in that part of the world? The first thing is when we have this ASEAN agreement, the first thing is I was, hosted by the Ministry of Education in ASEAN countries. Number two, I have set up an entrepreneurship development institute. There are national level institutes in 4 countries of ASEAN,
Oh,
namely Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, and Myanmar. They are called as CLMV countries within a group of ASEAN.
mhm.
Because ASEAN, you see, there are few developed countries comparatively, like Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Brunei, and least developed countries are CLMV. So to provide them equal opportunities, they find India is a strong partner because we have a history of developing SMEs in our country. And you will be surprised, India is the origin of entrepreneurship education, and we enjoy that respect everywhere in the world. Therefore, the Entrepreneurship Development Institute is chosen as a nodal agency to equip them and share our learnings. So I was associated with education. Second, to my challenge was to make them, economically and professionally self-sufficient by providing mentoring to all these institutes. And I work closely with Ministry of Education. Then with the ILO, we have done a intervention, a very famous product of ILO called Start Your Business, Grow Your Business, Know About Business. So it's all about, the student-centric activities of ILO. They believe they catch them young, so they
Oh,
become a strong pillars of the economy. And for information, I am a master trainer of ILO, wherein I got an opportunity to train the trainers and teachers in more than 78 countries. So this is how I am associated with the education ministry. Thirdly, as my passion, I help them in reforms to bring some new teaching techniques and curriculum development initiatives with the Swedish development agencies and JICA, uh, to large extent with GIJ.
Okay.
So that's how I'm connected with
Japanese.
higher secondary and technical education in that part of the world.
Yeah. And since you are connected with the education and policy makers institute, then can you highlight, about more about the education system in ASEAN, and you can tell us about what are your observations on the education system. Is it like our 10 plus 2 plus 3, or how it is?
See, initially when I was there, there were different patterns, like 5 plus 3 plus 3, or 6 plus 4 plus 2.
Okay.
Or what we say, the 12 years.
Yes.
So they have a primary, secondary, and higher education, same like us. But now, in last decade, most of them have adopted 12 years. That is 6 plus 4 plus 2.
Okay. 6 plus 4 plus.
That's the 12 years, and then 3 years graduation and post graduation 3 years.
So they still are following the same graduation pattern like
most of the countries, they are at par with us, because after ASEAN integration, basically the focus was to bring everybody on the same page. That's the advantage, so now they are on the same page where we are. Since some countries, they are poor countries, so their policies are tuned by the donor agencies like GIJ, European Commission, ILO, SNV, and all. And a lot of new things have happened. In last 10-15 years, their infrastructure is also nicely developed with help of this. And the other partner agencies like ASEAN Plus 6, they are also doing a lot to bring them on a common platform. Indian government has taken an initiative to set up an entrepreneurship institute. But the second very important initiative of Government of India, which all of us can consider, is we have set up a technical vocational education institute and help them to come at par. So that's Government of India's initiative. Second is we have set up a English language centers in 4 countries. So that is another asset for us.
In fact, in India, most of us, we don't know these are the developments, or initiatives taken by Indian government over there.
Yeah.
So in general, what do you think? Like, what are the educational aspirations of the youth in these countries?
You will be surprised, even a poor of so poor, they aim to have an education. Yeah. They want to be graduate or postgraduate, and most of them would like to be PhDs. And the PhD is, in India, mostly perceived by the people who carry, career growth in the academics.
Yes.
But you will find the people in business community and bureaucrats, they also like to do the research and get a PhD degree. And you will find a lot of importance is given in these countries for higher education. I would like to share, what is my observation is most of the, because these countries, they do not have a adequate infrastructure and the institutional network to really feed the ambition of the local people for higher education. So what happened is at early age, at higher secondary level, a student pursue the Cambridge certificate course,
Oh,
which provide them entry to US and Australia. Similarly, they look for entries in China and Japan. So JICA and some Chinese institute, they do a lot of certification. So if like in India, you have uh, IIT entrance exam and all that thing. Similarly, they have a gateway exams, and they started interacting with young people with the flavor of the education in Europe, China, Australia. So that excess I see in almost every ASEAN countries. Maybe that they will. I never see the Indians actually. Uh,
uh, sir, it is a general perception that, as you mentioned, that these CLMV countries are a bit poorer countries as compared to their other ASEAN counterparts. How these governments, like what are the government views, and what are the facilities or scholarships or funding that is available to the students, and how the international institutes, how many international institutes are there?
uh, See, because of the economic things and infrastructure lacunas,
Mhm.
these countries they provide access to the education to the foreign universities, but they were not allowing the campus in their country.
You mean campus
But
placements or
no,
campus
no, no,
setting up
setting up of the
campus?
campus. But
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
that was an old story. But nowadays they allow.
okay.
Second, uh, these countries they know the importance of education. So if you see, they provide as per their requirement. In a communist country, they calculate. How many engineers you want, how many management people you want, how many accountant you want, right? Agriculture graduates you want or postgraduates you want for your governance and to equip the education system as a whole. So that level of they identify the students and they provide a scholarship. Their
Yes.
scholarship package is very wonderful. It's not only covering the tuition fees.
Oh,
Normally, they cover the tuition fees up to 7 to 8 uh, $1,000. Plus, for student, they give the sustenance allowance
mhm.
that added to the scholarship. Apart from that, they provide the travel concessions. They can come back to the country twice in a year or once in a year. Even they provide the garment, the suits and the casual. So all that cost is a package of it.
Oh,
Many poor people, they cannot afford to do that. So government says, okay, we provide you all these facilities and everything. When you come back, you serve in a government for 5 years. That's the employment guarantee.
oh.
So
So
once
that's
you have
added
the
advantage.
employment guarantee, you can easily raise the money.
Yes, yes.
And after 5 years serving in a government, they can go to private sector or public sector. They can continue, or they go anywhere. So the market is open. So basically, that capacity building initiative of government is fantastic in that part. And I think this our management institute can take benefit of it.
Yes, sir. Now, since all of our viewers today, they are from management background or management education, faculty, principals, directors, and all. My next question will be: is MBA popular in ASEAN? And who are the players? And what are the subjects that are available as a specialization?
See, there are two parts of education. The technical education and management education. Technical education need a lot of infrastructure and all. This country, if you see the business canvas of this country, they are small. Their population is small, market size is small, but they have a lot of resources.
Oh,
So that resource-based industries, they get exports. They produce hydropower. It's again export. So they need a lot of technical and management people. So what I see, the young people, They do not have a management schools in that number. India, in Pune itself, you have more than 30 MBA institute. I don't know exactly. But in a whole country, you will find 10, 15 MBA institute there.
Oh.
So there is a big gap. How this gap is made, it's wonderful. They adopted Australian or UK or Korean programs. They provide a credits. So you complete few models and you get X credit. Then you go for Y credit, take that, and then after 4 module certification, you get a diploma. So the famous British organization AEB, their courses are very popular. Every year, few thousand students get a management degree or a diploma in that part. In Vietnam, in Laos, in Cambodia, even in Thailand. So people, those who cannot go to the college, they do these credit programs and acquire the management education. B, in the neighboring countries like Thailand, you will find a weekend programs where people work and go and do the programs. So there are different modules available, and nowadays many foreign universities are offering online programs supported by local institutes. So you'll find there are a lot of small institutes. They they implement the programs of foreign universities, and they become a tutor, the local institutes. These tutors will help them to complete the modules. If they don't understand online, so the local tutors help them. And that how the ecosystem is created, which really take care of the manpower they require. I found, a lot of people from India, Filipinos, Chinese, they are in management of local businesses. So there is a lot of scope for Indians also to get into that if you have some special skills.
So, in fact, I am coming to that. I mean, from your experience of over 2 decades, what scope do you see for Indian management education in these countries? And what may be the challenges or key areas which will need a special consideration from Indian point of view?
Which we need to explore.
Yes.
Because it's a clear gap of management education. Why I am making this statement is the Indian ITech program, wherein we provide the training to the people in this part of the world, particularly the bureaucrats and the officials and the industry people. They come to India for management training, short capsules of 6 months, 1 year, because it's a clear gap. Maybe in agriculture sector, in power sector, even in environmental sector, healthcare. So all these areas, there is a lot of scope. What challenges, they face, where, we can offer a collaborative approach. But the challenge is a language. So each country have their own language. But luckily, the American institutes and the European, Australians, they run a lot of language programs. And create a background to introduce their, opportunities for education in that country.
Yes.
And since you are attached with them as a strategy, naturally you see the flow there. And the people, those who have money, they go to European countries. But people don't have money, they go for the modular program. So exactly the gap is, the Indian education. If somebody is not able to go there, but with a scholarship of about $10,000, one can easily get education in India.
Yes, that is very much possible.
Unfortunately, the awareness about Indian management education is very low. I'm very happy to share with you. I serve as a management faculty to two MBA colleges, Young Institute of Economics and other one. Uh, Almost nine executive MBA programs. I was a faculty over there. I was teaching entrepreneurship innovation subject and marketing. And I found that the company executives and the owners, they come for MBA program. And when I talk to them, this is, look, we never get an opportunity to learn, right? Because of the constraint, that time we were not financially that good. So that's one thing. Second is the gap is the infrastructure gap. A lot of people, they want to start, but they don't have a faculties, or maybe the faculty with experience of industry. I think in that part, when we want to execute, you have to have faculty members having experience in industry and business. So they really look into the faculty members. They are choosy. When they go to any institute, they see how many faculty members they are attached to the industry or businesses. So that's a very common question the student asks. I don't know whether in India they are.
Even in India, even students ask this question.
Yeah. So there also the student asks these questions, what is your industry experience, business experience and all. But, the India business, they know, India is very good in IT, India is very good in management. They know IITs, IIM, but they don't know how to get into it. Because I think there is a gap.
Probably we are lacking marketing.
Yeah, you can say marketing, but somehow we have to reach to them and showcase, what we can offer. Yes. But in a market, those who have, go for higher education in Europe, and then when they come back, they say we have very good teachers from India in that country. We have very good students, in that part of the world. And this is how, the executives coming back to the country, when they come back, they also, seek help of the Indian experts, those who are in touch with them while they educate or they get education in that part of the world. So this is how, the many Indians via Singapore, they reach to this part of it because they are graduated from the Singapore college, right? And, there are very good management institute in Singapore, Thailand, and Malaysia. But other part, surely there is a lot of gap. And if you count a number, that MBA institute number is very less. Just, out of my own academic interest, I have done one research, entry barriers to entrepreneurship and management. So I found, most of the students reply that we don't know, which stream we should go for. Because these countries, they have a small size of business wall. So they get more imported products, and they see the people, those who are doing marketing. So they don't have a more experience in the manufacturing sector, but yes, they are looking for that. And in recent past, I have seen a lot of manufacturing activities being encouraged in this part of the world. And in recent past, you must be listening the stories. The Chinese business shifting to Thailand, shifting to Malaysia, shifting to Vietnam, as Indians also aspire to get that business, So they are also trying their best. And they have set up special economic zones where I see there is a lot of opportunities. Particularly, I see because, though I'm Indian, but I was away from India for so many years. But last 3 years, I'm in India, and I see many colleges, they have a beautiful programs, what they say, the post-graduate program in pharmaceuticals. They have a PG program in agribusiness management. So that will definitely give edge to Indian Management Institute to offer a specializations in what we say the niche areas, even in tourism. let me share my experience. When I was working with Myanmar government and Cambodia government, what we did together is their budgets, right? Education budget, infrastructure budget, railway budget, and all. We converted that budget into a project bank.
Oh, yeah.
And I used to conduct a investment summit.
Mhm.
And that time, the investors used to ask question, do you have a manpower? You have a project, but do you get a manpower over here? And then I found even a Jindal or Indian entrepreneurs, they bring the manpower from India. They don't get a locals. And local people say, oh, we have an opportunity, but we don't have education. That's the gap.
That's really, really interesting, and I'm sure all our friends from education industry will get an inspiration from your view. And as a Indo-ASEAN Business Chamber, we are already getting some many inquiries from Indian as well as foreign institutions to set up, a new campus in some of these countries. Now, sir, coming back to to our students, if any of the students from India wants to get a job or wants to get a placement in these ASEAN countries, what you will suggest? How he or she should, do the preparation?
I think they should learn the culture of that part.
Hmm?
They should do a little study.
Yes.
Unfortunately, when I interact with the Indian student, because as a part of my assignments with the UN World Bank, they have a program called Young Professional Program.
Yeah.
So I used to find that in the young professional programs, it is compulsory for management agencies like us to deploy the young professionals as a volunteers. So I used to get volunteers from Nepal, Filipinos,
Mhm.
Malaysian. I used to get Koreans, but getting Indian volunteer, even Sri Lankan, I tell you. But Indian student very rare because they don't register. Number two, they don't equip themselves.
Yeah.
Because our students, they need to understand a socio-economic aspect of doing business. I have done my research in cross-cultural international business, and I found that if you know the culture of that country, then possibly in recent past the Indian business is growing in that part of it. You will find we are the major pharma and healthcare player in that part of it.
Oh.
And most of the Indian companies, they employ who knows that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing is our people should learn a local language.
Yes.
When they go there, they don't try to learn. So that's another problem. But if we really give exposure to a language, at least all management institute can give a cultural exposure of different part of the world. You see, today India business is almost everywhere. Next week, I'm going to Laos. I'm going to conduct a program over there on marketing and branding for the one of the education institute and chamber. Uh, I was just taking a stock, and I found that there are 11 participants from Indian origin.
Oh.
They are participating. So a lot of people, I see they're doing some job or others, particularly in pharma sector, infrastructure development. If you have additional qualification like project management, if you are doing an MBA, it's very easy for you to do two programs. Like a project management. Second is what we say the business data analytics.
Yeah.
The image of Indians, they are very good in analytics.
Yeah.
But we don't have a qualification, entry qualification. That's another issue. हम लोग एनालाइज तो बहुत सारा कर लेते हैं, लेकिन we don't do it with some portfolio or other protocol. That is what MBA student can learn, and I think this business analytics, digital marketing. Many of the MBAs, they perceive digital marketing as a job of uh, technical people. But let me tell you, it's a non-technical.
Oh.
So all these strategies to promote business, promote marketing. It plays a very important, even what we say, payment gateways management, outsourcing of the services required in industry. So if that sort of a supplementary, some courses are done. Second thing is, if they want to get a job into donor projects, then they must have some experience working with the NGO sector or some social sector. So I think in our
CSR and
MBAs,
all.
can we introduce that sort of small intervention to get our student attached with the social?
Yes,
Because
sir.
I found while interviewing the Indian candidates, their social sense or what we say civic sense is very small. So that is what we need to equip our students.
Yes. Now coming to the next questions. Now, if any of the institute, if interested or looking for an opportunity, how do you think how they should go ahead for the collaborations and bring synergy and share the benefits? How it can be done? What you will suggest to these institutions?
I think your initiative will be surely supplemented by the Indian policies.
Mhm.
We are not aware. The India is providing fellowships uh, for higher education. India is, as I told you, we have Indian government has supported vocational technical education system over there by providing infrastructure support. So our institute can be a part of Indian initiative. That's the one thing. Number two, in private sector, there is a lot of scope. We can join with the private sector education institute. I will be very happy to, help our Indians to grow in that part. And yes, I see there is that. Second thing is the government of in all these countries, their education budgets are really handsome. If you read any the statistical information, you will find that in their economic budget, they make 14 to 22% provisions for education.
Oh,
That's
really?
a trend growing in this part of the world. And most of that will go as a scholarships because their students go out. So if we join hands with them and saying that, look, you have a budgetary provision, please join hands with us. But that required a little higher level interventions. But yes, it's possible. Our embassies can help. Even through chamber, we can help. And uh, just to because about after pandemic, I had an opportunity to visit few of the countries. They were saying, if you come with, a good reputed institute willing to work in our country, we will offer the basic infrastructure and then can they join hands with us. So I have few ready proposals for technical education management. Few countries are asking for travel tourism institute, catering management, because the many of the student they seek employment in Europe, Thailand, China, Australia. So they want to get equipped for, job ready for the countries in this country. So I have done one study, the entry barriers in Canadian market. Based on that, we give advice to the local people, how they can equip their manpower so they can get a job. Because the local job market is small and it doesn't really help them because the industries are less, but they are growing slowly. So local opportunities are opening, but still they look as a employment hubs. Europe, a few of the developed countries in ASEAN, and China, Australia. So they always try to learn these things. You will find a lot of schools they run a Japanese training class. Uh, they have English, Mandarin,
Oh,
most of the student, they do parallelly this type of things that they see. So the skill required in that part, they get training here. So
just out of my personal curiosity, are there any schools who are teaching Hindi language? You said
No,
you mentioned.
no. I never seen. The government of Indian embassy, they put some Hindi teachers, and the Indian, the people working there, they send their kids to Hindi language.
Okay. Sir, great, great. Your experiences and your observations are superb. Now, from the institutional point of view, like now how to build the partnership or how to bring the coordinated approach for these institutes? Because we have not many interested institutes.
I think our consortium as a whole, we have to do some strategic interventions.
Yes.
The first strategic intervention is we showcase, our competence. What we have done, what sort of, the people we create, what sort of a job employment, we make them ready to seek the jobs in nationally and internationally. Uh, Second thing is let people know the Indian infrastructure, because whenever people talk about India, they talk about the old stories of India. But the modern India is not what people perceive. Modern India is very different.
Totally.
And whenever, during my tuner, I used to bring a business delegation, they say, wow, when they come to India. But we had to create a more occasional, like what these Australian, Chinese people do or European people do. They arrange a lot of cultural programs. In their embassy, the business group, they organize. So as an education institute, if we have a student cultural exchange program, or maybe a one semester out program, so we get not only exposure, but we also demonstrate. So we should encourage that sort of MOUs. And when I talk to few of the technical institutes and management institute in different countries, whenever I get an opportunities, because being a expert in SME strategy policy and business incubation, many institute, whenever I go, they call me. So when I talk to them, they say, it's a good idea. We know more about Indian education. What they know, they know few institutes in Delhi. They know some institute in UP.
Okay.
Some institute in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. But unfortunately, Pune, Bombay, they know the city, but they don't know the institutes. Rest of the India is less. You will find more students go to Karnataka or Tamil Nadu and Delhi, UP.
Oh.
I was surprised, why they go to UP, But anyway, that's a story.
That's a modern India, as you mentioned just now. Since last 5-10 years, even UP education scenario in UP has changed quite a lot.
Yeah, and they reach there. That's what I say. If you reach there, and what I suggest is we can make a consortium. We start offering some cultural or maybe a language programs as a strategy to get introduced to them, right? Slowly we talk about the Indian system, and the best part of it, the Indian management system. We talk about family business management and all in the cultural aspects. So that part we can bring, because in that part of the world, most of the business, they are either a family business or a community business.
Oh.
I have done my another research on family business management and succession planning in that part of the world. And I found that most of the business people, they relate their business stories with Indians. When I share with them, they can easily connect, because they have businesses from generations, and mostly the businesses are community based, or what we say, the family based. You will be surprised. I used to ask them a question, how you raise the money.
Yeah.
They will say first, family, friends, communities, then bank, and then government. Last.
In fact, it is the other way around.
Yes, Yeah, but I have done my that entry barriers study survey, and then I found this is a this logical sequence you find everywhere, even in Malaysia, even in Indonesia. So
And sir, I would like to ask you one more thing, like how Indian mission or Indian consulates can help us. Suppose if we have any institutes and they want to go there.
I tell
So,
you, we have a very good people over there in all the embassies,
okay,
and if you go with well planned,
yeah.
unfortunately, our people reach there and say, "Please help us for visa."
Mhm.
Then it's very awkward position. So
Yes,
please
sir.
respect our embassies. Uh, and if you go planned, I'm sure, many of the time it's so embarrassing when I was a part of a mission.
Mm-hmm.
We fix a meeting and our people are still sleeping. They don't go in time. So if we follow certain norms, I'm sure they will have a good experience from the Indians. And they love to work with Indian, that I can tell you. They respect Indians, but somehow this is, they are not very punctual. They have a problem of commitment. Our people go sign MOU and don't reply after come back. And
That's a
vis-a-vis,
bad thing.
they do the same thing. Our people also complain they are not responding. The biggest gap is, there is no middleman who can bridge the gap. So when you work in this part, you need some reliable people who bridge the gap, and the communication is very, very important.
Yes.
Even if you are not able to do, please communicate with them. Sorry, we are not able to take up this time, but next time is all right. Still, the windows are open, never close. So with this strategy, I think, and our embassies are very good. If our consortium together, we want to do some, what we say, the education show in that part of the world, uh, embassies will surely help. That's I can tell you. Though I'm not a part of any
That will be a
embassy
great.
or any mission, but yes, my experiences they are very positive.
Great. Now, the last questions that I would like to ask: what role Indo-ASEAN Business Chamber can play, and how it will benefit to all those institutes, or you can say Indian Management Education Institutes.
Let me tell you, how this concept of Indo-ASEAN Business Chamber come. Last 4 years, after my assignment with the government of India finished, many Indian entrepreneurs want to grow their business in that part of the world. So last 5 6 years, I'm helping Indians to grow in that part. I have deployed in many, what we say the donor assignments of World Bank and ADP, where many of our professors, research fellows, I have employed. I have employed, more than 50 people in different projects. So that time, my mission was to, help Indians to connect with that part of the business world, considering my experience. And while interacting with the people in that part and this part, I found that there is a big gap.
Yeah.
We need to facilitate the ambition of ASEAN people as well as India. And uh, to bridge that gap, uh, the idea of chamber come when I talk to few like-minded people in India, and you will be surprised. It's a recent baby, but already we have of connectivity in 6 countries. And maybe every month we are going to open one chapter in one country. Uh, we are going to open 2 chapters this month, one in Laos and another one in Myanmar. Maybe already I have inquiry from other countries, Malaysia. In our last seminar, the people from Malaysia, Indonesia participated along with but Vietnam and all will be soon on the card. And our chamber will be serve as a facilitating agency for you wherever you want to go. the initial gap, to know about. Uh, I'm sure we have already created that breach, and all my board members, they are representing different countries on the board. They will help you.
That will be a great thing, sir. And I'm sure many of the institutes, which are renowned institutes, and their managements will be interested in setting up an institution in these countries. Sir, thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
I will be very happy to associate, and I welcome all the management institute. And I love to work with the student at large, to what we say, uh, making them aware about the new set of a skill they required to go international.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you for your time.
And if there is some questions, I think the organizers can take.
What is the step to become a successful entrepreneur? From Mr. Shailesh. Probably Shailesh is interested in starting his own business over there.
Shailesh, the willingness to work is a success, right? And when you work, with strategies, you are closing to success. And, I always say, the entrepreneurship is all about the competence. And the competence can be built, and you have to be very competitive in the market. If you aspire to grow, look for productivity. If you offer productivity, you get client. And if you follow the productivity, you earn more profit. So that's the key to success.
A value chain, we can say.
Yes.
Any other questions? Sir, one more from Gauri. What are the areas that I just missed the questions? Gauri, can you retype it again? Can't see the question.
Yeah, I see. What are the areas that they are looking to collaborate in India? Okay. So the areas, I say, A is in all functional areas, if we come out with some small value-added programs and convert it into a diploma degree level, that's a good beginning to get associated with their institutes. Because India, we have learned and mastered in each functional area of industry business, right? Even a foreign trade, logistics, these are the new areas where you can see a lot of opportunities.
So are there any possibilities for a blockchain development?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Blockchain, AI, ML application, rather integration. That's very important. The technical people can do that integration part, but application is all management game.
So to end the session, small vote of thanks. I would like to thank today's speaker, Mr. Vinod Paratkar, sir, for sparing his time and sharing the valuable information on ASEAN countries. I'm sure all of us have learned something new today. I also thank Mr. Sudhir Sharma, President of AIMS, then Dr. Ganesh Rao, who is an executive board member, All India Association of Indian Management Schools, and all the board members, AIMS Secretariat, the participants, and the participants who have attended this meet. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We look forward to meet you again.